This week on Hobie Outdoor Adventures. After wrapping up the 4th Hobie World Fishing Championship presented by Rhino Rack, Johan van Kooten of Team Netherlands invites Morgan to Amsterdam for a fascinating adventure. He'll take Morgan to go canal fishing in the heart of Amsterdam, Netherlands.
We are catching some awesome fish.
Welcome to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. Each week, we'll take the Hobies and peruse the country in search of adventure, fun, and fish. Whether we're drifting a stream, dissecting a lake, or covering an ocean, we'll show you the tips and tactics to make your next trip successful. Come with us, set your sail, and discover what life in a Hobie is all about. This is Hobie Outdoor Adventures.
We traveled to the Netherlands for the 4th annual Hobie Fishing World Championship, which was held in Vinkeveen and Plassen. And we finished up the tournament. It was won by Steve Lassard. It was a great tournament. We had people come in from 20 different countries. And they had some tough conditions and some tough fishing. Finally, the weather cleared after the tournament, and Johan offered to take me out fishing. I was jonesing to go fishing. I was working the event the whole time.
Well, what I like the most about fishing these channels in Amsterdam is to being on the water, on my Hobie kayak, fishing on one of my favorite species, and see the whole city around me moving and taking care of your business.
Amsterdam is a very, very busy city, so we had to wake up really early this morning and get out to the town as fast as we could. Basically, once the town starts buzzing, there's a lot of tourists around, there's lots of traffic, and it's a big city with narrow streets, lots of bicycles, heavy traffic, and not a lot of places to park. So we were really lucky. We met a nice gentleman who owns a gas station, and he allowed us to use basically his back flight of stairs to access one of the canals. We pulled up, he made sure we had some good parking spots, and we offloaded the kayaks and carried them down the stairs, and before we knew it, we were on the water having fun.
The fishing pressure is really low in the channels of Amsterdam, so we might hook up to something nice.
Yeah, so we're using you know, vibration baits, crank baits.
Yeah.
It's about what, 2-3 meters deep, which is about 9 feet.
Yeah, it's an average of 2.5 till 270 meters deep.
So what's the technique you like to use? Just cast these out with the lip and just slowly reel them back in?
Slowly reeling back in, trying a little bit faster, slow down. The fish will be hiding on the bridges. They will be hiding under the system where you can dock your boat on.
Okay.
And those areas will hold up big perch, and the bridges will hold up to the nice sanders.
Okay, cool. I heard something funny. We took a tour of Amsterdam yesterday, and they said on average there's a car a week that when people are trying to park them, they drive them off the canal into the water.
No, I think that when they say a car a week, I think it will be a dozen cars a week.
Really?
Because many of the roads are like bending over to the channel.
Yeah.
And people will park there, and they will just go over it.
This is what I love about fishing out of Hobies is you can take them just about anywhere. Whether you're fishing on a farm pond or out in the ocean, or, you know, taking them down flights of stairs to get into the canals of Amsterdam. They're pretty awesome. I think this is a perch. I'm not too sure if it is a perch. It's a good size one, but as I was coming through that bridge, I just cast along the edge of one of those walls. Oh, it's a zander. It's small, but it's a zander. So first fish of the day ended up being the elusive zander that many of the competitors in the worlds had a really hard time catching, and it was probably a legal fish. So it was kind of funny, you know, the tournament went on for several days and we didn't see any legal zander, and then we go into Amsterdam and the first fish we catch is a zander. Off he goes. That was awesome. First zander ever. I think, oh, Johan's on. Little perch?
A little perch. As you can see, there's also various types of fish.
I think I have a new technique that we should try.
And it is,
Just slow trolling,
yeah,
pedaling the Mirage Drive, and just hold your rod tip right against the wall.
that's perfect. Shall we, I will turn around, so you take this one, I take that one,
Sure, yeah.
and then we can move up to the other nice bridges.
That sounds good.
This episode of Hobie Outdoor Adventures is brought to you by Rhino Rack, the world's most useful roof racks. Power Pole Micro Anchor, swift, silent, secure, and small. Lowrance HDS Gen 3, for anglers who want it all. And by AFTCO, American Fishing Tackle Company. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. We're kayak fishing on the beautiful canals in the middle of downtown Amsterdam. Amsterdam is one of the greatest small cities in the world. From Amsterdam canals to world-famous Amsterdam museums and historical sites, it's one of the most romantic and beautiful cities in Europe. An Amsterdam Canal cruise is the most popular tourist attraction in the country. A diverse fleet of around 200 tour boats carries more than 3 million passengers a year.
One of the biggest challenges on the water is the canal cruises. They are like big buses on the channel, which holds a lot of tourists, and those guys are really good drivers, but it's their territory, so you have to take care of them.
Amsterdam is also a city of tolerance and diversity. It has all the advantages of a big city: rich culture, lively Amsterdam nightlife, international restaurants, good transport, but is quiet, and largely thanks to its extensive canals. And in this city, your destination is never far away. You can find bikes everywhere to have a ride for an authentic local experience.
Amsterdam's a pretty incredible city. It's a huge tourist hub. Talking to the locals, they say it's kind of the Las Vegas of the Netherlands. So a lot of people go into Amsterdam to party and let loose and that kind of stuff. But who would have thought that there was such great fishing, you know, in and around the city? Nice little tubby perch.
Well, there's a lot of water in Holland because on most places in Holland we live underneath sea level. Amsterdam is, I think, about 6 meters under sea level. So when the water is coming in from the sea or from other countries, from mountains, it will push up here. So Amsterdam, and a lot of cities in Holland, has big channels, and there's a lot of water in Holland to cover also for fishing.
Amsterdam has over 50 museums, which attract millions of visitors each year. The Rijksmuseum remains one of Amsterdam's must-see attractions, with its magnificent exhibit of more than 8,000 works, including those of the masters Rembrandt, Vermeer, and Van Ruysdael.
Okay, so we just had a big barge go by, and my thought is that when they go by and they stir up all this water underneath the bridge, the fish probably feed for a second. So I'm pulling in right behind him. You can see the water's a little bit stirred up, and hopefully that gets the fish feeding. Whatever fish are underneath here. Come on. Oh, fish on. Oh, it's a big perch.
Yeah,
Good sized perch.
Those were our... What do you think about fishing in Amsterdam? Catching all those fish we were trying to catch the whole week.
I would have never thought there was fish in these canals. So what do you think of that perch? Is that about an average size?
That's a good 26 centimeter size perch.
I bet you the guys could have used a few more of these in the worlds, but cool little guy. Just send him on his way. This is kind of crazy. We're cruising along here, trolling, and these are people's houses. A lot of people live on houseboats. So what we're doing here is just using the Mirage Drive to pedal along, and we're just holding the rod tip right up against, hello. Holding it right up against the edges of the boats. And I think a lot of these fish are hanging out in here because, you know, they've got the structure for coverage, and then there's probably a lot of growth and stuff on there. Yeah, this is awesome. We're just cruising along, and people are looking out of their windows at us, waving good morning to us. I want to ask someone for a cup of coffee.
They will love to give you one.
Nice.
It just hit it at the surface. She was a lady girl.
It's really funny too. We've been going down the canals so far, and
Yeah.
I don't think we're in the very busy part of downtown, are we? Not yet.
No, not yet. We're not in the center of Amsterdam.
Ooh, that looks like a good fish.
I think it's perch.
Right against the wall again.
A big perch with a large mouth.
That little rod bends so much.
Yeah, it's so much fun.
I couldn't tell. Starting to get confident now. Feel like I'm familiar with the fish. Cute little perchy. Bye, buddy. Nice.
Well, you see, after the bridge, we've got a nice, decent perch. Starting to get bigger. Water's getting a little bit more deeper now. A lot of disturbance in the water of the boats. I will get her in real quickly. Finally got a nice sender, small one. You know, it doesn't mind. We have, like I said to you before, I'm fishing with a really light rod. So catching a sender like this, it's a lot of fun. This is what we're looking for at the Worlds.
Hobie Outdoor Adventures will be right back with more fishing in the beautiful canals of Amsterdam. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. After organizing a successful event at the Hobie World Fishing Championships in Vinke van Plassen, Morgan got invited to fish in Amsterdam canals with Johan van Kooten.
Traveling through the canals, pedaling around with Johan was really cool today. It was pretty much my personal tour guide and fishing guide. He was pointing out a lot of cool buildings. The architecture is incredible in Amsterdam. A lot of the buildings were built in the 1600s and 1700s. And just to be able to explore the city with a Hobie, pedaling through the canals was awesome on its own, and to be able to catch some fish was a great bonus.
Much of the Amsterdam canal system is the successful outcome of city planning. In the early part of the 17th century, with immigration rising, a comprehensive plan was put together, calling for 4 main concentric half circles of canals, with their ends resting on the A Bay.
It was really funny, you know, when we would hook up a fish today, we would have a bunch of tourists pointing at us, taking photographs, or even when we were just pedaling the Hobies down the canals, a lot of the tourists had never ever seen a Hobie kayak with a Mirage drive, so it was a cool thing for them to see. But you know, when I caught my pike and Johan caught his, people were out there with their cameras taking photos and stuff, and it's you know, it's kind of a weird feeling. They have no idea that there's fish in those canals, and I kind of like it that way. You know, if I were Johan, I'd keep those canals a little secret, because there's plenty of fish in them. Got a better one here. Big head shakes. I think it might be another Xander. Oh yeah. What is that? It's a pike. All right, we got all 3 species today. My first pike. Now I get to see what the guys in the Hobie Fishing Worlds were dealing with when I try to land this guy. I know they've got some very big teeth. So that's the technique for grabbing them, is in the gills. So supporting their belly. My first pike, we've got Xander, pike, and perch. So a little bit of everything this morning. These are really, really cool fish. Yeah, one of each of the species. That's what we're hoping for.
If you look on the fish finder, it's loaded with fish.
Is it really?
And I'm really surprised nobody's fishing here. All those stone areas, all those small bridges, they hold up so many predator fish and bait fish. And on the right you have the big famous Amstel Hotel. It's one of the.
Oh, this is the Amstel.
This is one of the most expensive hotels you can ever be in Holland, I think. One of those.
Feels like a good fish again. Oh my gosh, it's a huge perch. Oh. He's just barely hooked. I might use the net on this one. Don't shake the hook. Oh, wow. Wow. Look at this, Johan.
Look at the size of that one.
How many centimeters do you think this is?
I think there will be 41, 40,
41?
42.
We are catching some awesome fish. Man, they're pretty. These big spines on their back right here. Very, very cool. Oh my gosh, I'm having an epic day. Johan, this is awesome, man. Let this guy go. I'm having a really good day. Johan gave me this little, I think it's a little Rapala, broken back crankbait, and I've caught all my fish on that. A pike, a zander, and a bunch of perch, and then that good one, so.
Well, just got a nice perch. Just when I pull it up at the surface, I'm feeling some nibbles. It's not as big as Morgan ones, but you know, I will do with it. It's nice fish. Underneath the bridge in the dark, catching a perch. It's so nice being in the center of Amsterdam, having all those people on the terrace. We're fishing, hearing all the city noises. At this point we are exactly in the middle of Amsterdam, the center of Amsterdam. Still fishing, still catching fish, got some fish. Have to be a little bit careful more for the traffic now that's coming by. And yeah, we're gonna see some real good hotspots still. Over there you see Mr. Morgan fishing the Amsterdam channels.
And look, it's another bridge. That means we're gonna catch more fish.
And the cool thing is that everybody thinks he's a local because he's fishing here.
Yeah, I think we're introducing a lot of people to kayak fishing just by pedaling around here. Hard to make way down the river when there's so much stuff to fish. And it's awesome, no one's fishing here. I think it's a great place for the Hobies.
Hobie Outdoor Adventures will be right back after these messages. This episode of Hobie Outdoor Adventures has been brought to you by Daiwa, advancing the sport of fishing. Ram mounts, made in the USA, your best connection. Hobie Polarized, trusted, quality, heritage. And by St. Croix Rod, best rods on earth. Welcome back to Hobie Outdoor Adventures. We're kayak fishing on the canals of Amsterdam, Netherlands.
Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Beautiful, nice pike off the channels of Amsterdam. I think it might even be a legal one.
That's a better one. We were just saying this looks like a good pike spot, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
There she goes again. Well, got just a nice pike in the channel. As you can see, they're a little aggressive. They have some sharp teeth, and you always have to be a little bit more careful. But this one's really aggressive, and I was heading into the bushes, so I was like, oh, I want to have you on film. So I caught it in. She was making a jump, and I get into a little bit too far, and then she will bite you once. But it's what I call a love bite.
Justin Ritchie, one of the competitors from the USA in the Hobie Fishing Worlds, stayed an extra day, and he was staying with Johan, so we invited him to come and fish with us also. Right near the end, he also caught a giant perch, which you know, he was joking about, saying he could have really used that in the tournament, and I think he ended up in 5th place, which is really impressive, and it was just nice to be out on the water with Justin and Johan today. It was really, really fun. The species that I wanted to catch today was really a zander. The pike was on my bucket list, and I caught one of those. That was awesome. But probably the highlight of my day was the big perch that I got. I wasn't expecting to catch such a big perch. And when I hooked him, I thought he was another zander the way he was fighting. And when I got him up, it was a pleasant surprise. And had a big fat belly on it, and was, you know, pretty. And they have those big dorsal fins sticking up the top.
My highlight of the day was like to see Morgan catching the big tree. and a smile on his face, make him look like a young boy.
I had a great day on the water today. I caught 3 species of fish, 2 of them which I had never caught before in my life, and I couldn't have asked for anything better. Johan's a great guy, we had great weather, we had great fishing, and tonight, you know, we'll spend our last night in Amsterdam, and then we'll head out back to the USA. And all I can say is thank you to the people for their hospitality. There's great people that live here, and I can't wait to get back to Amsterdam.
We certainly did. We both caught a big 3, zander, pike and perch. We spent some really beautiful time on the water in Amsterdam. It was my pleasure to have you guys here fishing with me.
Oh, thanks for taking us out. That was awesome. You showed us around your beautiful city and showed us the fish that you can catch right downtown. That's crazy.
That's wicked, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, let's get the boats loaded up on the car and call it a day.
Call it a day.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
We'll see you guys next time on Hobie Outdoor Adventures.
If you'd like to find out more about Hobie fishing products, go to hobiefishing.com and log on to Hobie Facebook page to share your Hobie experiences and get connected with Hobie families around the world.
We're fishing. These are called Hobies. Yeah. Some pike, some zander, perch. Are you guys ready to race?